Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew, and William
And
is
William.
behind the camera. And we're here at Star Cottage Studio, which, if you don't know what Star Cottage Studio is, it's the biggest and most ambitious project that Allegory Gallery, which is me and William, have undertook. Sounds like I'm like gonna bury somebody. Anyways, it's the biggest project that we have done so far. And this is my studio, which you can kind of see in the background, but we're not going to show everything because we're still unpacking, organizing, and it looks like a nightmare behind William. So we're going to artfully pan around so you don't see the worst of it. First things first, welcome. We're super excited to be here with you. We have a whole weekend full of fun things planned, and we're super excited to see all of you. If you would say hi and say where you're from, that would be super. I can't see the comments right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through and look, and I'll say, oh, there's my friend Susan, there's my friend Anne, and it'll be great.
Yeah, and if you have questions, leave them in the comments. We might be able to get to some of them depending on how packed we are today with good stuff. But Andrew also goes back through to answer questions too if you have them.
And if you are tuning in late, you can always watch these videos on replay. And also, you may have missed some stuff. So instead of saying, oh, what did he just do for the first 20 minutes of his presentation? Because then I have to, say the same stuff over and over.
Just
rewatch
watch
the replay. All right. So we've got some fun projects today. I thought it would be fun to show you enameling. In some of the previous GBE presentations that I've done, it's all been about adding color to wood and metal and different things like that. And so we've done a lot of faux techniques to get the look of actual enamel, which is powdered glass that's been fused onto the surface of metal. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the real deal today. The real deal. And then if you don't have a kiln and you don't have all that kind of setup, I'm going to show you a variation so that if you want to do this at home and you don't have all of the equipment, you won't be like, well, I can turn that off. So there's still lots of fun, interesting little tips and tricks that I can share throughout the presentation. So if you're like, I have no interest in no enamel, you can still have fun. All right, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna try to have fun, but that's mostly dependent on you because I'm having a blast right now. If you couldn't tell. So first things first, we're gonna start with a little bit of safety, and I know sometimes people in the virtual world, they're so eager to get started that they kind of sometimes gloss over some of the safety things. But it's really important because we want you out there, all of you, our friends and loyal supporters and our great Bead Extravaganza friends out there, family, our little tribe, if you will. We want you to be making for a very long time. And so if you are interested in doing this for a long time, then hopefully you will consider upping your safety game. I know for years I kind of glossed over it myself. And then I'm like, wow, I don't like bloody boogers. So if you don't like bloody boogers, then maybe you will do some of the safety things as well. So the first thing we're going to do is if you have long hair, you're going to tie it up, get that scrunchie out from the 90s, pop that in there. You don't want anything dangling around open flames. If you're feeling your Stevie Nicks and you've got them bell sleeves out and you're wafting around, get a rubber band or maybe change. You don't have to commit. You can just, it's clothes. You can swap them out. The other thing Ta-da! An apron. And you're gonna be like, what, why is it an apron? So there's a couple things. For one, there's pockets. Who doesn't love a pocket? That's a great way to store different things that you need. Usually I'll put something in there for safekeeping and then forget it's there for safekeeping. So that I will say that. But the great thing about an apron is that if something, not just only protects your clothes, which is important too, but if something hot flicks on you, it's not going to go directly onto your areas. So aprons help. Now, the other thing is we're going to put on our safety glasses. These are my the well-worn ones, so they're a little bit cockeyed and scratched up, and I'm fogging it up, but that's cool. So we're going to wear safety glasses just because if there's anything going on around here, I don't want to flick in my eye and then, it's Dale Chihuly style. Get the assistants and be like, no, that's wrong. I don't have that kind of budget yet. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to work with some fire today. So it's always good to have a non-flammable surface or relatively non-flammable surface. And then I'm going to have my handy dandy fire extinguisher. And I always have a couple of these strategically placed around the studio just in case something gets out of hand. We're in a building that's over 100 years old. It's a wood structure, and I would prefer not to expire in a burst of flames. So I've got my safety, the fire extinguishers, and later I've got a mask for when we're sifting our enamels. Now, the other thing that I just threw this paper on the floor. I don't know if you all saw that or not, but if you did, don't do that. Because I was just thinking to myself, I'm talking about safety. I'm just throwing stuff on the floor. That's how you bust a hip, y'all. So I'm going to take that and tuck that away so that we don't have any slip and slide in the inside. So let's get working, I guess. Or do you all want to see the project real quick?
Maybe we should show the project in case they didn't see the preview.
If you all missed this preview party, you missed out. Here, take a look. So this is the enameled pendant. And these copper pieces are available on our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And you'll be able to get them. They look like this. Yours will come with a hole already punched in it in case you don't have a hole punch. Now, each one is a little bit different. So if you're like, I wanted that one, unfortunately, you can't pick. You just kind of get a random cactus
motif
pendant.
scene.
You can get it. And they're all kind of vaguely similar. So don't worry. If you are interested in how I made these, if you go to my Instagram, that's Andrew T. Thornton 100. That's THORNTON. Andrew T. Thornton 100 on Instagram. I've got a reels, the newfangled reels. And the reels show exactly how these were made. Unfortunately, due to the time constraints that we have, unfortunately, I can't show that because we'd be here all day. Like, this took all day, y'all.
Yeah,
so I made William. He's over there helping me punch stuff out and do all that kind of stuff. So we don't have that kind of time.
Trish is asking, is there a kit or just components to build? We have the components listed on the website. We have the silk, we have the pendants, and then Andrew's going to show you how to put the other pieces together.
Sure. So if you want to make this exactly this way that I have done this, it's going to really, we kind of, because there's specialized equipment, we didn't want to make a kit. And then people are like, well, what the heck am I going to do with this piece then? So if you are interested in doing these things, there are all the bits and pieces are available on the website. We do have a kit, but it's not what we're.
It's different.
It's different, but similar. You'll see.
We're not huge on making kits that make just one certain thing.
But we do have them.
We do have them too, but we like to give you kits that you can mix and match and make your own stuff too.
Freestyle, y'all.
Freestyle. We give you the skills and then let you go.
I was gonna freestyle.
Oh, go ahead.
No. It's too early. Or maybe too late, and
Right.
I'm not gonna talk about it. I was almost.
You gotta keep on track.
I almost got in trouble. So I put this handy dandy timer on the computer, and then of course the screen goes blank. So oh well, whatever time, Lauren can keep track.
When did we go to 12:30 today?
I think the Miss Candy's on. All right. So the first thing we're gonna dome the metal. Doming the metal, because there's a texture on this. Since there's a texture, if you use a steel dapping block, which is what this is called, a dapping block, you're gonna be sad. And the reason why you're gonna be sad is if you're metal on metal, it basically is like a hammer, but on the underside, and it's gonna take your texture off. And this texture is not, how you say, super deep as it is. So you want to protect this texture. And one of the ways that you can do that is using a wooden dapping block. If you don't have a wooden dapping block, go out in the yard, get a stump, and then you can dig a hole in the top of it. There are different ways of doing that. You can chisel it out or sand it out. One of the ways that I was taught how to do that was to get a super hot rounded thing, like a spoon, because we were making spoons in the class, and then you put it in there and the heat burns out that hole. So if you're like extra level, you're like, I'm in it to win it, go ahead and do that. If you have questions about how to do that, you can ask me, but we're not going to be burning stumps today, unfortunately. Your piece will come with a hole, but I'm going to show you how to add a hole in case you want one. Now, one of the things we're also going to do is you have a punch. This is a dapping punch. And this one I got off the eBay. So it's a little bit well-loved, aka rusty. So what I did is I took varying grits of sandpaper and I just smoothed this over, going from the lowest number to the highest, because the lowest numbers is going to be the roughest and it's going to take the material off. And the higher the grit number, like 1,000 or 2,000, it's going to polish it nice. If you're really concerned, you can take this to a buffing wheel and put a little bit of Zam or any kind of polishing compound and shine that out super bright. And you may be wondering, why are you going to do that? And the reason why is if this is like super crusty and textured and there's all this kind of pitting and rust and stuff, when you put this texture onto your metal, it's going to leave those marks. It's called telegraphing. And you don't want that. Or maybe you do, maybe ding up that thing all day long and add your own texture, and you can like do whatever you want, feel the energy, your creativity, whatever you want to do. All right, so I'm going to put this face down in my dapping block. You can use a rawhide mallet. This is a nylon hammer that I have. If you have the ability to get one, get what's called a dead blow hammer. What it is it's all nylon, but in the middle, it's all hollow, and they put a steel shot in it, and it makes your hammer blows a lot heavier than if you're just using this. But that's what I have right now, so that's what we're going to use. So the first one, I'm going to just start in the middle. And also, one of the things that I should mention is I've placed my dapping block over the leg of our table that we made by ourselves, homemade, our homemade table. I'm from the South, so I can do that.
And sometimes he does,
I know.
unexpectedly.
I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm embracing my southern roots. But anyways, so I placed this over the leg of the table, because if you do it here, everything will jump around like it's like, you know, that song.
Jump around.
Yeah, and don't do that, because that's, you know, this is not Mrs. Doubtfire up in here. And then what I'm going to do is, if I'm trying to get in here and make that a little bit more domed, I can always put this off to the side and angle my punch down and then move it. Whoa, you can move the metal? Sure can.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. One thing also I'm going to talk about is how I'm holding this. I'm holding this so that I've got these fingers. This is going to hold it. And then I've got this to make it nice and sturdy, and it's not going to move. And this is not super important right now, but if you're going to be stamping metal with like a design stamp, that is important, that your stamp isn't going to be all slipped. Because if I hold it like this, you're going to get something different, and we don't want that today. We want to be in control. We don't want to slip and slide. This is not the 90s with the child toy with the slip and slide. All right, so we've domed that out. The next thing I'm going to do is punch the hole. Now I have this little twisty punch. That's a very technical term, twisty punch. It's a twist hole punch. And there's a lot of different ones that you can do. If you have a Fordham or flex shaft, you can take, and I have a little wooden set of these, and you can set that like that. And you get a center punch, and they have an auto punch, and you just punch it and then use it on the wood. You don't want to do it on steel because it's gonna bite into the top of it. But you'll go in there and you can make a hole like that. There's hand punches. There's all different ways to make a hole. I even showed in the last segment, I showed how to make a hole with a nail. So don't come at me and say, I can't afford all these tools, because I found a nail on the road, on the sidewalk, and I actually did. It for real came from just laying around. And one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to go all the way down to the mountain. And that means all the way to the bit. I'm not going to screw that in, because that'll leave a mark. So I want to leave as few marks as possible. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to feel that. And it says, ouch, that has a burr, which means where the metal flared out on this side. If you had like a microscope, or if you were like Bionic Man and you could go and zoom in on that, you could see there's a little lip of metal there. And we don't want that. So I have a file somewhere. In theory, there's a file. I actually have like hundreds of files, but I didn't bring it over here. But this is 320 grit sandpaper, so that'll work too. And whoa, no more burr.
They're loving your ring.
Thanks. This is from Cynthia. Go buy that on the Etsy store.
Ring Girl Studios Etsy.
That's my sister made that. Unless you're talking about this ring. Whoa, then you can't have that. That's mine. Let me move that out of there. No cheating. You're going to get the pre-tell. They're like, he's going to do what?
They said your pop culture references are unparalleled.
Well, I try hard. I read Rainbow Rowell. If you thought I had pop culture references, read that Rainbow Rowell. You missed a generation. You'll be like, you're going to have the Google out and be like, what is Lady Gaga's lyrics to Bad Romance? Because I don't know what they're talking about, because they whatever. Anyway, so we've cleaned this off. One thing is important, whenever you're working with enamel, it's important that you have super clean surface. If you like go eat the popcorn and your fingers are greasy and you got like the sticky fingers, go wash your hands And if you're just like naturally greasy, get some gloves out, because otherwise you're going to have some issues. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that our surface of our metal is super clean. Since I don't have a sink up in here, oh, please buy stuff from our website so I can buy a sink. Y'all think I'm playing, but he could show you the outhouse. Go ahead, show them the outhouse while I clean this real quick.
Oh, we can actually see out the window today. There was a whiteout earlier, just a few minutes ago, and there's our outhouse. Do you think we're lying? There's an outhouse. That's what Andrew had to use earlier today.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna drink all the coffee.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, I wash my hands with my.
Help us pay for a bathroom. Buy some things.
I know. Please, sir. No. So, anyways, I've got this pre-enamel, which is a scrubbing, but you can also use Penny Bright, any kind of stuff like that. That's gonna make it nice and clean. And you're in your nice clean water. And I should take my rings off, but here you go. I'm just cleaning the surface of this. Now, one way you can tell if the water, if it's clean enough or not, because that's a question. People are like, how do you know if it's clean? Well, if it looks dirty, it's probably dirty. But also, if you put a little bit of water, the water should sheet off of the metal. If it beads up, that means that there's an oily surface on your piece, and that is the opposite. It's not your friend, because then you're gonna be like, how come I got a fingerprint? And then then it's like, I told you, clean the stuff, but
you didn't listen.
You didn't listen, so you're gonna do your own way.
Everyone's talking about our chairs in front of the outhouse.
Well,
they look closer than they are here from this angle. They're actually by our fire pit. We have a nice little fire pit out there.
The outhouse is convenient to the fire pit. You have your romantic glass of whatever next to the fire pit, and then you're like, uh-oh, then it's right there.
Oh, somebody's saying, go fund me, Andrew and William, outhouse no more. We have a Patreon.
Yeah, we do. Anyways, nobody likes it, so I'm not going to talk about it. All right.
I put the link up just in case.
Uh-huh. All right. So this is called Clear Fire. And basically, this is like glue for your enamel. So get your paintbrush, dip it in there. You know what, y'all? I saw some people, they use the spit. I'm not going to do that today. And we're just going to do a light coating. Notice it's not beating up. There's also a cleaning that you can put on. It's called a Strivectin Cleaning, which is basically like diluted Dawn dish detergent. I think I'm saying that right. Strivectin. And that makes it non-sheeting. So I'm going to just lightly put a light coating on it. You don't want too much, because then if you're putting a hot enamel into the kiln, then it's sad time. So I got this little spatula. If you don't have this spatula, you can use the one, you can make it your own. You can put a little wood block or whatever underneath. This is just so that I can pick this up, because if you have a flat piece and you do it like that, and then you're going to be digging, it's going to push the enamel. So if you have a flat piece on this, then you can pick it up and maneuver onto the trivet. Otherwise, it's going to, you're going to get where your fingers mash into it. So the next thing we're going to do the safety. William, do you want to do the safety?
I can try and do the safety.
Okay. Put on a mask. Okay, he put one on, y'all. So I'm just putting this on when I'm sifting enamel. This is so that as it's going into the air, it doesn't become one with my nostril holes and then makes the bloody boogers. All right, so I've got my enamel. I'm going to use a clear or transparent enamel because I want to see this texture. If you have a texture on your metal and do a transparent enamel on top of that texture, that is called boss tie. Don't ask me how it's spelled because it's French. William may know, but it's called boss tie. It doesn't look anything like how it's spelled.
It would be BAS, but I don't know the tie part. I've never seen it before.
It's TAILLE.
Oh, TAILLE. Bataille.
Uh-huh.
BASTAILLE.
I'm like, that boss tie. So anyways, we've got that on there. I'm going to take my transparent enamel powder. I'm going to put a small amount into my sifter. This is an 80 mesh sifter.
And if you're like me, don't worry about the waste here. It's not really waste.
So also, I should also mention, I've got we have a ample collection of magazines, and I put 2 pieces of this shiny paper down. You want to use this shiny paper down because it's got a coating on it, and that's going to make sure that if you don't have it, if it's like a newsprint paper that doesn't have a coating, it'll still work, but the static cling of it, your enamel will stick to the surface. If it's shiny, like with the magazine paper, it's going to slide easily back into it. So when I dump this, and also I put 2 sheets and I cross them, one this way, one this way. And I've dumped this into this, and I've did it off to the side. It's like cooked baking. If you dump the flour and you're measuring out the flour and you do it like over it, you're going to get extra flour in your cake batter or whatever you're making. Now you'll notice this is twisted. This is twisted so you can use your fingernail. If you're like, I am opposed to using my fingernail on this, you can get a coin. Pretend this is a penny. It looks like one, and you can go like this. It's like you playing spoons or whatever. And then so you get that, and then you just sift it on. Now you want a nice even coat, and we're going to turn it up a little bit on the sides so that we get those edges really nice and well coated. All right. The next thing we're going to do, I'll leave that on for a second. I've got my handy dandy specialized tool. This is called a piece of wire. And if you've got a hole, you'll go dig out that hole. Because if you don't dig out the hole, the glass can fuse over that hole, and then you don't have a hole anymore. Don't show this one. Let's take my mask off.
And everything's coming apart.
I know. It's a thin veneer of TV time. Okay. So we got 30 minutes. I got hustle. I had all these things planned for y'all, but I don't think we're going to get to it. Too many pop culture references. So this is a trivet that I've sprayed with some boron nitrate, and I've taken a piece of chalk and gone over those after I file down the edges. That will make sure that there's not as many trivet marks as possible. Now, it's always good to kind of imagine that your trivets are already hot. So I'll oftentimes use, even if I know it's cold, I will use a spatula or trivet carrier to manipulate this, because we're going to pretend like it's hot. All right, I made this one. Whoa. All right, I'm going to stop fondling the spatula. All right, so the thing is this is the kiln is set to between 1450 and 1500. depending on what you're going to do, you're going to plan this out. You're going to visualize it in your mind that you're putting it in there. I'm going to open the door, put it in, and close it. It's proven that if you visualize something before you actually do it, you will have a greater chance of success. And I want you to be successful. So visualize, then just put that in. Now, if you're going to do this like every day for 8 hours a day, you will want to wear eye protection that has the special coating on the lenses. So this will go in there for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Some people do it by time. Some people do it by eye. There's different levels of fusing. The first one is called sugar. And that, when you pull it out, it will be just in there for just a couple seconds. It's starting to begin the fusing process. It looks like granulated sugar has been sprinkled over. You know, you get the sugar donuts, not the powdered sugar, but you know, the sugar ones. It looks a little bit like them candies you can break your teeth on. So that's sugar stage. After sugar is orange peel, which basically it's still kind of melting and getting kind of where it wants to go. And so there'll be slight little divots over the surface of it. That's called orange peel. The next step is fully fused, which there'll be it's an even glossy coat across the cover. And then after that, it's called overfire. That's like when you start checking the Facebook and you forget it's in there. The edges will be completely black, and the enamel will start pulling away from the sides of whatever you're putting it on. So, you know, some people like overfired. There's a place for it, but guess what? It's better to not do that as much. So, and the reason why is that if you overfire it, you can do it's not so great.
So this has been in for about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
And so it's going to look black right now, but that is basically the enamel cooling on top of the surface of the transparent. The transparent enamel is cooling on top of the copper. The copper is going to look darker. Now, there is a trick when working with transparent enamels. The trick is you kind of have to put it in and heat it up several different times. And when you heat it up to certain different temperatures, and you have to play around depending on the color, what's going to happen is it's called clearing the enamel. So your piece will look like that. Now, after it's cooled down for a second, I can tell that it's cooled down for a second. I'm using tweezers. I'm just going to put that on the table. This is a metal table, and that's going to help cool it. But notice the surface of that is black. That's called fire scale. And don't get too close because it's popping off right now. You can see the little flakes popping off. Basically, that's a surface oxidation, and it is called less than desirable. You do not want to get this mixed in your enamel. There's this flaky powder that's on the surface. You don't want those. So come back over here. Come on back over here, y'all. I'm getting real southern in here. And then I'm gonna, in the sake of, I'm gonna put this on real fast. And I'm gonna put this back in there. In theory, we would do this after the next step, but we're running out of time. So, in the sake of time, we're gonna speed that up. All right. So I put that back in there. When you're done with your paper, fold it up and make a little packet, like so. And this one, that one too. And you're like, what? Why is he doing that? He poured all this stuff. It's a powdered glass And then if it gets on your fingers, then you can go eat that donut and you get those Doritos and you start licking your fingers, then it's going to be sad time. So in theory, after you do this, you'd wash your hands. But guess what? Since I don't have a bathroom, I'm using these flushable wipes. There's no running water in the outhouse, y'all. Just so y'all know, there's not even a pump, you know, like on the Beverly Hillbillies. So in theory, you're cleaning your enamel. You would clean that and you'd make it look like so. And the reason why you have to do 2 coats, one on the back and one on the front, is because it's a surface tension thing. It's called counter enamel is when it's on the back, and that prevents your enamel on the front from popping off and chipping. So you basically just duplicate what we did during the first step with adding color or adding the counter enamel on the back. We would just do it on the front. This is a piece William has, I think, is this your first killing enamel piece?
Yeah.
He did that last night. He used an opalescent green, and that turned out really good. All right. And this is the one I did. I used that seafoam green. And you can see, I mean, this lighting is not the best for this, but you can see the pattern underneath there. Can you all see the pattern?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
All right. So do that.
And we probably needed to cook this one another time, right?
Yeah, it would have cleared it up a little bit.
It's a little bit red from the copper turning red.
All right. So if you don't have a kiln, you can always get a piece. Should I do this? Mix and match?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So I've already cleaned the surface of this. I've got these. These are vintage patina paints. They don't make this anymore. They have some kind of colorful soul or something, but I like these ones. You basically paint them on however you want, and then I have this set up in a little trivet like this, and put those on there. Whoa! You dip it in there, you paint it on. Whoa! 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 Getting out of control, and then so you make sure these are really shaken up. I've got a pin here that if that gets clogged up, I open up the top. I paint this on. Once it's set in there, if you want to do a technique where you don't want to remove the metal, you can take a cloth like so and wipe the excess off. Then what I do is I take this over to my little oven and I put it in there for about 10 minutes or so. It's at 275. It's not going to hurt it because it's metal. And then once it's cooled, you want to make sure it's nice and cool and you're not working with hot metal because it will burn you. And then you're going to be like, why did Andrew burn me? And then it's like, I didn't do it, I promise. So then you can take a piece of sandpaper if you want, or a buffing block or emery thing. And then you can just buff the top. And that's going to take away the patina paint on the surface of this. Now, if you're like, how do I seal this copper so it doesn't keep turning colors? There's a product called Renaissance Wax. You can just dab this on and it will help protect it. It's basically wax. In theory, if you or somebody else and not me, you would be using a soft cloth and not your fingers. I'm not going to lick my fingers after this, obviously. So there's that, how to do that. If you want to make this look even more like enamels, you can take liquid polymer clay. I recommend Kato brand liquid polymer. Put a thin coat and put it in the oven at 300, between 275 and 300 for about 15 minutes or so. And then pull it out and it will be super glossy and look just like enamel. So there's one way to add the color to the piece. Now I'm going to do, less than delightful. Well,
a lot of people were asking about this.
About the fire?
Whether they could do it this way.
All right. So, well, no. So I was gonna show you how to use the torch to do it, but my torch just dunked itself in the water and it's no longer igniting. So, oh wow.
But you can torch fire the enamel.
You can torch fire the enamel. You do need a trivet set up, and you have your trivet set up, and you turn your heat up, and you go underneath, and whoa, and then you can see it. It's a different effect, and you do have to be a little bit more careful. And since my torch is now ruined, we're not gonna. Hopefully that dries out. If not, it's a creme brulee torch. It's not super expensive, and I've used it for several years. So whatever. Anyway, so we're not making any head pins now because it's gonna make a head pin real fast. I have this ball chain, which I just put all that. This is copper ball chain. I'm just gonna put this on a solderite board. Here, hand that to me real quick. Pretend like this is actually functional and not just like a piece of garbage at this point. And then you're doing it.
Kate says it will work after it dries.
Okay.
We believe you.
Did it work? No. So hit that like this, and then what's gonna happen? It's called heat patina. You'll just put it on there real quick, real light. Pull the torch away. Don't hold it on there too long because you're going to have two parts of chain. It's not going to be one. It's going to be two pieces if it burns. And the heat patina, the color happens on the cool down. I'm going to repeat that. The color happens on the cool down. So if you're using the torch and you're like, I love that blue, you should have pulled it away about a second earlier, because when it cools, it will continue to change colors. So
Kate says you can use a candle and turn it on and it should light for you.
I've done that with the other one that got busted.
She said it definitely happened to me too.
Well, this one probably needs another time. But like Kate said, if you accidentally dump that in there and it won't spark, because there's a piece of flint and that's what's getting it ignites it. There's also there's a flint starter that I also have that makes a spark, but that's somewhere else. I'm not gonna mess with it right now because I'm like gonna go dig and seek and find.
Maybe stay tuned to one of our live at 5s and Andrew will show you how to do the torch enameling.
Yeah, maybe. So I was going to talk about this. This is called silver plating solution. If you don't like the copper, if you're like, I hate copper, I don't want to use copper, blah, 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 just paint this business on and turn silver. All right, there's that. The next thing we're going to do is talk about making the loop. And depending on what gauge of wire you use, this is 16 gauge, this is 22 gauge, and then this is 18 gauge that I use for this. I just took this dapping punch, and you just wrap it around a couple times. You get your cutters out. This is a double flush cutter. You put that like that. And then depending on which way your brain works, you can either go in and wrap it around like that. Now, once you get closer to the edge, get them pliers out because this can cut your fingers. And then you're going to cut the limes for the margaritas. And then you're going to be, or the cheladas, whatever candy drinks. And then you're going to have the sad times because it's going to burn like, can I say hellfire?
Pamela's asking, what days do you go live at 5? Allegory Gallery, we go live at 5 every weekday, 5 Eastern time.
Yeah. And then I'm on usually on Tuesdays, but that might change because
he's got a new gig.
No, I'm moving on up, y'all. I got an artist in residence position at Contemporary Craft in Pittsburgh. So then you just do the other side. And you can make this as elaborate as you want or not as elaborate. And it's up to you how much you add detail to it. You can go back over with a finer wire and weave it in. And you can also, if you're really concerned about it matching, you can work around this and get that. If you want, you can put this back on your steel punch and then hammer it. It's work hardens it. Or you can put this off to on your bench block. You can shape it as you like it. When the hammering is a light blow with a hammer, and what that does is work harden it so that you can. It's sturdy now. Look, it's sturdy.
No more flexing.
Yeah, if you sometimes you want it to look like the way you made it. All right, the next thing you're going to do, how much time do you have left?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right, so I'm just going to describe this to you because, it's neat, but you don't need to see me boil water. So I got a little kettle over there. It's got water in it. You make the water hot. You pour it in there. Old-timey liver of sulfur comes like this. It's basically garbage after the first time you use it. Like, look, it's all useless. So, some people, they have more luck than I do. But basically, after I break the seal, it works one time, and then that's it. So I like to use this. It's a gel. Liver of sulfur. The liver of sulfur is suspended in a liquid, which helps it keep it fresher longer. The Fresh Maker. All right, which is the opposite of Fresh Maker, y'all. This smells like you ate lots of eggs and you had the trouble time, the tummy turbulence, and you're gonna stank up the place. It smells like that. So this is one way to do it. You can get it once you do it. You dissolve a little bit of this in there, mix it up, and see the difference, and then. In theory, I have a pro polishing pad somewhere on here. Here it is. If you want to bring out, if you want to bring out those details, just hit that with that microcrystalline foam polishing pad, and it will take off the surface patina on the tops, and it will leave it in the recess, and it will make your design pop even more. So you can add your charm on to your ring. You can add little beads from your bead mix if you want. You have in the kit, which William's going to talk about in a second, there's this wonderful copper-plated piece from Tiercast. I've used my patina paints, add a little bit of color. So you can do that too. You can really do that. I was going to talk about another thing. If you don't like the look of this, go to the hardware store. You can use a washer. It's made of pure copper. One thing, if you get this, you'll want to make sure that you take a sandpaper and go over because it's punched. They use a die to punch that out. So there are those burrs. Remember that burr, you can feel it sharp. And then if you want, you can take your hammers and add a texture to this. There you go. That's
texturized.
You can texturize it. Go dip that in the stank fluid. And then you go and make sure it's dry, nice and dry. Don't put that back on your bench block. Basically, don't put anything wet on your bench block. Anything that's steel, don't put anything that's wet. Otherwise, it'll look like this. You don't want the rest time. The rest time is sad time. And the sad time is not happy time. So my part is over. I'm going to hand this off to William, and he's going to do some talk with you.
I'm going to do some talk. All right. So I've been looking at some of the comments, and a lot of people are mentioning, or some people anyway, are mentioning the silk. If you're looking for this silk, we have various colors of this beautiful hand-dyed, side-stitched silk, and you can purchase that at allegorygallery.com. We have it right, where am I? Right there for you, allegorygallery.com. And here are some of the other colors. If you go into our shop tab and look up the stringing materials collection, you can find all the different colors that we have in stock. We actually generally pull the exact strand and take a picture of it. So what you see is generally what you get on the website for that. And we have more of these wonderful Tiara Cast succulent little charms. You can get those on our online store as well. We just loaded those up this morning. A lot of people are loving the pendant. So if you're looking to get the pendant, that is now in the online store. We put it right at the very top for the TGBE collection. So you can get this pendant. Yours will come with one hole punched. If you'd like a second hole or more, you can punch them yourself, as Andrew showed you how to do it. Each one is different because it's done with a stamping process, and each one is just a little bit different. All right.
I use the rolling mill, y'all.
And a lot of people were asking if you can use the liver of sulfur on the plain pendant, and you can do that. Yes, you can do a lot on this plain pendant. And then
wait,
there's more. Let me see if I can. Can you do it?
I can do it.
He doesn't trust me one-handed. I don't trust me either.
We already had one flub.
I know. All right. So this is the new Design Challenge Kit. If you don't know, Allegory Gallery, Andrew, puts together a Design Challenge Kit. Every once in a while, we get a new kit out.
We used to do them every month, but people are getting wore out.
Yeah. So this is the Design Challenge Kit. And
there's only a limited number.
This is Desert Succulent.
If you like it, buy it.
Yes, there's a very limited number of these kits. You can see all the stuff that you get in the kit. You get 2 of those little charms, the succulent charms we've been talking about. You get this gem cut check glass. And if you want other colors, on our website, if you go into the check glass collection, or you just type in gem cut, you will see all different colors. We have probably 40 or 50 different colors of these wonderful little strands on our website. And remember, you can save 15% using the code TGBE in the website. And that code will be good for about a week or so. So you can make your decision if you're not sure what you want to get yet. But you can also use that code over and over. It's not one per customer. You can keep using it and get as much as you want. We will combine orders and refund any shipping overages throughout this weekend. So this is what you get in the kit. You have the amethyst strand here. You have some fire polish check glass. I love, love, love these. Whoops.
Pips.
These little pips.
I think we're the second person that'll be using those this weekend.
Love the pips. So there's a lot in this kit. You get the bead blend, the luxury bead blend. Let me just show you what that looks like outside of the bag, because we're getting some reflection on that. So Andrew made this up in these beautiful succulent colors.
It's supposed to be inspired by this. You get that too. We made you a little mini print.
Yeah, we made you a little mini print of these. You get this just to keep that inspiration going. They're also very nice, close to Very Perry colors if you're looking at the Pantone color of the year. So you can mix this whole kit and collection with all that Very Perry stuff that I'm sure many of you are stocking up on right now.
We got time extra dying.
We got a little bit of extra time.
Show the dying succulent. That's from Tucson.
The dying succulent. It's hanging in there.
I used to collect succulents, and whenever I'd go to Tucson, I'd pick up a succulent. I won this award from Kay Godfrey, and they use succulents in their display, and they're like, well, I'm just going to pitch them in the garbage. I said, well, I will take them. So I carried them across the country with me, and then now we had kittens.
Yeah, the kittens decided that the succulents were play toys, and we had a very large collection of succulents, and now we don't.
All right, you want to show?
Okay. Oh, Andrew's going to demo.
Right, we boiled the water. These are really nice, by the way. If you like tea,
we use this all the time for tea.
I love it.
So much better than the microwave.
Well, it's faster.
It doesn't heat your cup up as much.
Yeah, you don't burn yourself. All right, so that's the water. You're going to take the stank fluid, put a little dab of it. It's going to turn a brilliant yellow color. That's how you know that you want to stir this up. Smells so good. The aroma. You just
He's doing this right at the end just for us here.
And then you just dip your piece in. That's like the outhouse after.
Abby said it's such a pretty yellow.
It is for something really that smells so stank. And then you just dip it up and down. Now, if you're concerned, if you really want a super dark copper patina, is after you're about midway, you'll clean off the whatever has patina started. You clean it off and do it again. And basically what you're doing is you're freeing up that surface area so that it gets more surface contact with the liver of sulfur and you get a darker, richer tone. And you'll just keep doing that until it's as dark as you want. If you keep doing it, you can get almost black. Actually, it will be black if you wanted to. And then so you can just keep doing that until you get that, the darkness that you want. I'm going to actually, since we have about 4 minutes, I'm going to show you the copper solution, the silver plating solution for copper. This is a product that's from Jack's. We don't sell this because we tend not to sell liquids.
They're hard to ship.
And then you want to make sure that this is really well stirred up, and you want to make sure you have good ventilation, and also that you have a piece of paper underneath whatever you're gonna do. Because I don't. Oh, there's our address, our home address. I'll put that over our home address. And then you just basically paint this on. And at first it will have like a pewter looking look to the silver.
Maybe don't do all the copper so you can see the difference.
The contrast.
Yeah.
And then you'll just do, as it dries, you'll do more layers and it will have a brighter silver.
Look at that. I've never seen this. This is cool.
I know. Just hang out with me and you'll see all the tricks, y'all.
Now remember, everyone, a lot of the stuff we're showing you, we don't sell. So if you'd like to support us, please go online, visit our website at allegorygallery.com. Use that code TGBE to save 15% all weekend and all next week. Help us out.
Yeah, I like to pay my mortgage. So
we love giving free demos. Andrew often gives a free demo 1 time a week during his live at 5. We go live at 5 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube most every weekday. That's Monday through Friday. Andrew does 1 day a week where he gives a demo, usually on Tuesdays, but that may change here in a little bit.
If we get the cottage set up, I'll do demos more. I'll do more demos.
People are asking, do you need to seal this after it's done?
I like to hit it with some Renaissance wax, but basically I like to hit anything that's going to come in contact with my skin. I'll seal it with the Renaissance wax just to protect it. In theory, we would let this dry and then add another coating of it. And then you can buff it up with a polishing pad. I'm going to close up this liver of sulfur before I get stanked out. And then these are going to be going in the online store. But I have different colors of this ribbon and these ribbon ends, which if you don't like the copper, this will match to your different ribbon ends. And you can add different, instead of using this silk, you can use that. Now, also, if you have your piece finished, where's the finished one? Imagine that this is patinaed, and you want to make an easy necklace. So take your ribbon. If there are any little fuzzies, don't pull them. Get the scissors and chop it, and then fold this in half. Get that little loop through, put that through. So you've got that loop, you put the 2 through that loop that went through, and you pull it. That's called a Lark's head knot. It's so easy. And then if you use like a big hole pearl or something and put that over through there, if you need to fish this through at all and it won't squeeze through the hole, use a piece of soft wax and put it through your ends and then use that to pull it through almost like a flexible needle. And that's one way that you can work your way in through holes that, you know, if it doesn't glide through. So that's the way to do that. And we're done.
And we're done.
So tune in about 15 minutes. You've got a 15-minute break, and then Miss Candy Cooper will be on. So stay tuned. We've got a full weekend of festivities for all of you out there. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.